Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today we're talking about the time to kill or TTK patch in Battlefield 1 and whether it was right for it to be implemented or not. I'll be talking about the arguments against it, the arguments for it, and what I believe DICE were trying to achieve and my personal opinion on the patch itself. The background footage for this discussion will feature gameplay from each of the 4 infantry classes so that you can get a basic look at how they now perform. I've also now completed an analysis of the changes to each weapon type in the game, and I'll link to those in the description and in my pinned comment if you're interested in seeing them. So why am I bringing you this today? Well, it's because in my aforementioned analysis videos, the comment sections were absolutely awash with contradictory statements. This is usually the point where a gaming YouTuber will switch to a black screen and have the comments pop up, but as you can see, no comments here, because there are literally that many comments saying different things. So instead, I'll give you a basic overview of what I saw from commenters who have some sort of grievance with the patch. There's the SMGs now kill too quickly, there's the SMGs can't compete with medics even at close range. Yes, both of those statements have come up a lot, even though they are essentially complete opposites. There's that shotguns are still useless, and that shotguns are still too good. There's that medics are too good at all ranges, and that medics now can't compete with supports for some reason. But also that supports are now too weak against medics and assault players, but are too strong against scouts, along with medics, but also that scouts are still too easy to use, and the list genuinely just goes on. What a mess, right? And that's without mentioning the complaints that assaults now can't leave close range, supports can't leave mid-range and instead just sit on bipods, and that scouts now apparently can't play the objective. Plus obviously lots of other points that then contradict those statements too. Basically, the community has no idea how to feel about the TTK patch, and this is actually pretty standard for when a game makes a fairly big change to gameplay mechanics. People generally don't like change and don't wish to adapt to it, and therefore don't accept it and learn how it works. Or sometimes they just don't like it, which is also fine. But let's now quickly look at the sort of comments I received that support the changes. We have that shotguns now feel balanced, SMGs are lethal against almost everything else at close range, medics are nice and versatile, support players can't dominate up close as easily, whilst being more effective in the mid-range, and that both medics and supports can now counter scouts effectively, but scouts still have an overall advantage at long range. So this is all much more positive, but also confuses the entire situation more so when you combine it with the negative statements I referenced before. A way to start to clear this up is to look at what DICE were trying to achieve with this patch. Essentially, they wanted to lower the time to kill for a faster paced experience and the ability to take on multiple enemies if your skill level allows, and 2, they wanted range to be far more of a factor in a gunfight as opposed to rate of fire, which used to be pretty much the deciding factor most of the time. In turn, this then sections the map off into different zones where different classes can operate and affect the flow of battle in their own way. So in a perfect world, scouts are now actually scouts spotting and fighting from range, supports are literally supporting those ahead of them, assaults are assaulting at close range, and medics are running around doing what they should be, you know, being medics. Although this is Battlefield, so most of them probably trying to run around being scouts or assaults and ignoring revives, but now really isn't the time to rant about that. With this in mind, some of you now might be getting a slightly clearer picture of how the game now works, and perhaps you're thinking a little differently about it. Or, on the other hand, some of you may now just be saying, well, it's a game, and I want fun rather than realism. I can't really argue with either perspective. What I can do is give my opinion. Personally, I really like the patch. It's freshened up the experience for me as things were becoming stale. I've already stated recently that I feel a bit burnt out on BF1 sometimes, and this will be a whole lot worse without the patch. There are now new things to learn and master. I feel that the classes all play as they really should now, and with a little adapting, they can still all be used very effectively. The background gameplay shows me using the 4 classes at many ranges and being successful. I do understand the frustration though that some people can't now play how they used to enjoy playing, and this is a shame, but for me it's collateral damage. However, I also feel that the medic class is probably a little too good currently, not by a huge amount, but it's probably at the top of the meta, but something is always going to be the best, it just happens to be medics currently. Now, has the patch come too late into BF1's life? For me, no. For others, yes. I think DICE were essentially trying to keep the game fresh and fun during its second year, plus the game doesn't just die as soon as the new one is released. Look at BF4. I'm pretty sure I've heard that that game had a similar change implemented, and people are still playing it in large numbers and heaping huge praise upon it. Finally, I wish to say that FPS games aren't just about reaction time and winning random one-on-one gunfights. They're about positioning, probably more so than anything else, and you now simply need to focus on that more than before in order to succeed. Plus, in Battlefield specifically, it's not just about getting kills, it's about fulfilling a role. That role being assaulting the objective, keeping your allies alive with heals as a medic, supporting those ahead of you, and Overwatch assistance as a scout. But this is all just my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below, and let's try to keep it civilized. Do you like like the patch or not? Do you have any specific thoughts on it? Now we need to quickly shoot over to the Board of Awesome to show our respect to the fantastic people who choose to support the channel on Patreon. They do so simply because they want help to keep the channel going, and I salute them for that. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, then the link to the Patreon page will be in the description, where you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. If not, then please don't worry about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, favorite, and subscribe. I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.